I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week in Crootin. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express. I had it delivered to the office on Friday.
No,
that's 100% true. I was, okay.
I'm so mad right now. I wasn't here on Friday now.
I had it delivered from I was feeling, you know what? Got that yellow box craving. You know what I mean?
I do, actually.
And what happened was, okay, do not hold this against me, but it was also raining pretty bad. And I was like, I'll pay for delivery.
There you go.
So I don't have to get out in the rain. That's a 1%er type thing.
Let me give a pitch right now. I want to work on this for us, Pickle.
You want to see if those headphones work?
Sure.
Let's see. We'll find out here.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you good.
Fabulous.
Now I know you can hear me.
Okay, now I'm locked in on the plan.
So what's your proposal?
We have an editorial meeting after this show. We usually don't have time for lunch.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, everybody at the table had a yellow box in front of them. Just think about the joy that everybody would have
you talk
on
about
Monday.
improving staff morale.
Yeah, that's a great point. If we because we have our all staff meeting and our editorial meeting at 1:45. Yeah. It's you got to hold off. That's late lunch, but at the same time, if you know that yellow box is going to be sitting there in front of you, I'd be willing to wait.
For sure.
Some things are worth waiting for. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise is Georgetown 2026 offensive lineman Caden Scherer. Is that what we're going with?
We're going with.
Okay. Who this week, really over the past week and a half, has blown up in a huge way. He's picked up offers from TCU, from Baylor, from Stanford, from Arizona. The secret is out about this young man, and big-time Power 4 programs are taking notice.
We've been talking about Georgetown for a while. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, our conversation has centered around Jet Walker, Xavier Warren, the guys who get the rock, right? Mm-hmm. We should be talking about Caden more because this dude is a road grader up front. And I think in this class, he's one of the top-rated offensive linemen in the class. He made our top 10 offensive tackles list already. He may need to rise up that list a little bit based on just his raw upside and potential, right? And I use the word raw because I see what he might change into in a college strength and conditioning program. But you're watching this tape right now, and he is mauling dudes. Look at this.
Yeah,
he just flattened some poor defensive lineman right there.
And he's playing, by the way, for a prolific offense. He is playing left tackle as a junior and more than holding his own, dominating out there at the point of attack. This is a young man that I think is it's. I'll just say this: TCU, Baylor, Stanford, Arizona. They are merely early adopters. They are not. They are not the last. I have a feeling that the more people this tape gets in front of people, the more he's going to blow up on the recruiting circuit.
Yeah, and I bet his coaches and people and his opponents, his opposing. I bet they're saying it's about time. Yeah. What were you guys waiting on?
Yeah, I think maybe the ends from the district, from their district, might have something to say about this young man. As Caden Scherer, the offensive lineman from Georgetown, is our prospect on the rise. Our commit of the week. Going to Kaufman to talk about their 2026 wide receiver Aljor Miles II.
Yep,
you lit up when you got an opportunity to talk about this young man. The newest Dave Campbell's Texas Football 4-star has committed to SMU, and this is a really nice win for the Ponies.
No doubt about it. And if you are not paying attention, if you're a college football fan and you're not paying attention to what SMU is doing in recruiting right now in this moment nationally, then you need to pay more attention because SMU is flat out killing it. They're recruiting at a different level than they've ever recruited before. And just to lay out some names, we'll get to Miles here in a second, but to lay out some of these names that have committed to SMU in recent memory or recent weeks, you had Markel Ford. He was a one-time Texas A&M commit. Highest rated defensive commitment
Ever for SMU? Yeah.
Ever that we've ever rated. You have Aljor Miles II, who picked SMU over Oklahoma, Texas A&M, USC. These are recruiting battles. Braylon Edwards, one of the most heavily recruited players in the state and the number 2 cornerback in DCTF's cornerback rankings. SMU is flat out killing the game right now. And, credit to Rhett Lashley and his staff. They had a tremendous season on the field, so the product that they put out there backed up all the great things that we've said over the last couple of years about their recruiting classes. And the proof is in the pudding. And right now, the product that they put out there has enticed more top recruits to want to come to the hilltop. Well done, SMU.
Well, and Aljor Miles, to make sure we put a fine point on this young man is, I thought he really burst onto the scene. He's a 2026 guy. I thought he really burst on the scene in 2023 as a sophomore. That was really when we first started taking notice. He had a big season that year. But he's a guy who looks the part. 6'3"-ish, 200 pounds. He looks like a number 1 receiver, plain and simple.
Yeah, he's a big-bodied receiver who has really good athleticism. He's a new 4-star because we released our top 10 wide receiver rankings last week, and he was the number 10 wide receiver, so he jumped over some of the other 4-stars, so that made him an instant 4-star. So that's why he's the number 10. If you're the number 10 wide receiver in Texas, you can play.
He is the newest SMU commit is Aljor Miles II out of Kaufman. Congratulations to him and the Ponies. It's a big win for them. Let's round it all out with our what was it? Was it our prospect on the or
underclassmen?
Underclassmen of the week. Going to 2027 to talk about Argyle's wide receiver Julian Caldwell, who this week picked up a flurry of offers. Here. This is a guy who also stars on the track. He was excellent in 2024. And I think that what you're seeing now is, like, if you take a look at his numbers, right, at 21 catches for about 600 yards, he's a big play merchant. And he is also a guy that I think everyone sees the potential. Remember, Argyle's not a team that they spread the ball around. They're not a team that's predicated on, like, we're going to feed one guy. So if you're getting touches like this as a sophomore in Todd Rogers' offense, he sees something in you, and now all these programs are seeing something in him too.
Over 30 scholarship offers already, and he had a huge week on the recruiting trail. He picked up a lot of offers, but Texas and Texas A&M both offered him in the same week. When you get those two in state, it's just like It's just big. It's
that's all you
big
can say
time.
there.
I think you'll see him be a much bigger piece of this offense this year because he's so dynamic. He reminds me a ton of former Lovejoy wide receiver Dalen McCutcheon, who signed with Texas last year. And I know that he goes to the same wide receiver trainer, so maybe that's why. But similar frame, does a lot of similar things within the offense. So Julian Caldwell, we've been meaning to talk about him for a while now. This is our first big opportunity to get it. So I'm glad we get to shine the spotlight. I would say that maybe we waited too long since he has 30 plus offers. He's just going to be a junior next year.
But the thing is that, like, 2025, the 2025 football season feels like it's going to be the big breakout year where every the numbers are going to and the production is going to match up with that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
he was a piece of what was a really good offense last year. I feel like you're right. They're gonna start building more and more of the plane out of Julian Caldwell starting this year.
Yeah, and McGuire Gasperson, the quarterback at Argyle, noticed him on a couple of those throws where he was pinpointing the ball in there. I think it's going to be a pretty dynamic offense. To me, they were the surprise team.
Yeah, I think they're a year early for sure.
I just didn't know that they would compete at such a high level, getting bumped up last year. I mean, Argyle's always great.
Yeah.
They've got one of the best programs, but they came out of the gates when they got bumped up swinging, and it's because of guys like this. They've got a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball, especially Big Braden Bach, tight end. Picked up an offer from Houston today, so Argyle's loaded And they got the big hog mollies up front.
We know that.
Yeah. Argyle's offensive line is always loaded.
Yeah, you never have to worry about them being good up front. Another guy you never have to worry about is Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He's fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks for glowing me up like that. Appreciate
You're welcome,
it.
buddy.